So today I want to talk to you about props. I'm going to go over some of the props I use in my classroom, and I kind of categorize them into 10 different categories of how I typically kind of use these props. So the first category is going to be the bare necessities. This is kind of just like my base, my heart of my props, because I typically use these a lot. So the first one I'd say is my dry erase board. I use this for grammar. I use this when I want to write something nice and clear. If I'm having issues writing clearly, I can use it for games. I can put my rewards on there. You can do all kinds of things with the dry erase board. And then I have Meg and Mike. Okay, these are really good for the trial classes, which I'll talk about trial classes in another category, but just in general, these are, I typically use them. If I'm going to use any characters, it'll be Meg and Mike throughout the lesson. I can also say they, or, she or he. I use them for my pronouns. And then I have my stars. Whenever I give them a star, I also kind of show them a star. And then I can use these stars for asking, what color it is. I can say small, smaller, smallest. I can do this, that, these, and those, right? And you could do this with anything that, it doesn't have to be stars, but in general, I like to just keep it with the stars since I use the stars all the time for rewards. And then I also show them something when we're going to sing. I always give them like a little visual and say, we're going to sing. Kind of help transition into that. And I have a bunch of little animals singing. They're super cute. I also like to have some kind of stuffed animal or puppet, something that I can make the kids smile with if they're, I don't know, they look like they're bored, or, we just need to make something a little bit different. So I like to bring Tiger in a lot. I love my little tiger. I bring Pink in and she jumps, so the kids like that. Or I bring Mr. Frog and he'll start talking. Whenever there's a frog on a slide, I'll bring out Mr. Frog. Or if we're talking about foods like sweets, I'll bring out the Cookie Monster and he'll eat cookies. So yeah, I would say having some kind of stuffed animal or puppet or something that the kids can, have fun with and look at it and enjoy, and you can converse with them with that, role play with it. That's a lot of fun. So those would be my bare necessities. You have the dry erase board, Meg and Mike, a singing prop, the stars, and a puppet or stuffed animal. All right, the next category will be trial classes. Basically, I use a lot of the things I use for my bare necessities. I use my Meg and Mike. I still use my singing props. And sometimes I'll bring out my dry erase board if I want to do something specific for the trial class on that. Typically not very often. And then we talk about family in the trial class. So I show them a picture of my family and we talk about that. And when it comes to the colors, I'll blow up the balloon. Sometimes I'll draw a little face on it and I'll say the balloon is blue, blue. And I'll ask them to see if they have anything blue. And then for pink, I show pink. For yellow, I show Dino. He looks super cute. And then for the letters, I'll always make them make the letters like it has on the slides, but they enjoy doing that. And then I show them an apple and I pretend like I'm eating it. And then I'll try to get them to eat it. And if they're playing along with the whole eating thing, then I'll bring out other things that they can eat, like a pizza or a donut. I just have a bunch of little food stuff here. And I find that food just comes, we talk about food a lot in the classes, so having a little group of anything, little food items is fun. So I'll just keep feeding them things and we'll laugh about it. And then B for bed, I just kind of pretend like I'm sleeping. Like, I just always pretend like I'm sleeping, and sometimes they laugh if they're really cute. They'll pretend like they're sleeping too, and I just say bed. We sleep on a bed. And then for C, I show them a cat. Okay? And this is my cute little cat. I love this little cat, and I actually have a set of these, and I'll talk about those too. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for my trial classes. Really, I focus a lot on my props. Those are specifically really kind of like for level 2 and for your pre-VIPKID. For the upper levels, I just kind of bring, you're going to see some of the rest of the props I bring out, just kind of whatever I kind of have, but I don't keep it as lesson specific. These are definitely a little bit more lesson specific for the trial class level 2s, because that's typically what I have. So when it comes to encouraging the students, I have little props for that. I use my pom-poms. Yes! If I'm talking to them with a little finger person, right, I'll use this as my background and say, good job, you are awesome. Or I use my little creepy hands, right? I give them high fives or high tens. Sometimes I'll pretend like I'm thanking. They think these are hilarious. And I also have my encouragement words where it's just kind of like, amazing, wow, fabulous, you got it, you did it. Things like that. Kind of show those up at random times. And last but not least, this is one, and this can also be used as like just a regular reward. I mean, these props, these encouragement, they're kind of like your reward slash, if you have extras, something just that kind of makes them feel good throughout the lesson that you could do at random times. You know, I do my big bubbles, and ooh, that was I don't want to make a mess. But yeah, this is kind of some extra stuff that I use. Now, you could be creative and come up with all kinds of things, but those are some simple ones that I use as props. So this category is kind of like my fun category. You want to keep them excited during class and interested, and so you bring out funny things, get the kids laughing. It really helps. An example is kind of like if, you know, sometimes you'll see things like you'll see the hat, and then I'll put on my little mustache, and this is actually sticky so I can take it off and stick it on me, and I have a couple of these and they think that's funny. Or I could put on my sunglasses if we're talking about the sun or relaxing on the beach. I can also, for the girls, sometimes you'll see that they already have headbands on or something. If we're talking about a queen, I'll kind of wave and show them my crown. You know, I have a unicorn one. I have one for cats. If we talk about cats, I put them on. You know, having the headbands are really cute, and I just think it's adorable when they have their little headbands on too. And then things like the faces, like when they say something like, that makes me happy. I'm like, yes, I'm happy. Or, are you happy? And I show them the picture, and just having them see something different. Like, I used to use these, and these are just very like plain, simple. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to make it more fun. So I did a happy, I do a sad. Like if they don't have their project, I show them this. Like, oh, I'm so sad. Where's your project? So, or like if I see a shark or something scary. Oh, if I'm angry for some reason, you know, if I'm talking about how I feel, or if they feel a certain way, or if it matches up, I use those, and they always get like a little giggle out of that. Good for trial classes too. So yeah, I think it's important to kind of keep in mind some props that could get them laughing, or even if it's lesson oriented, like oh gosh, where is it? Let me see. There we go. Like a sock, you know, we talk about stinky. I took one of my husband's socks. You know, and it's like, oh, you know, things like that. Or if you have a shoe or something, get the kids laughing, and it makes the lesson more fun. It's more fun for you too. So I think having that kind of category, that fun category of your prop section is important. So the next category is kind of just having a set of different things. I have two different sets. I have a set of cats, all right, where I have 6 different cats that are different colors, but they look relatively the same, right? Just different colors. And I use these for multiple things. I have the same thing with the cars. I have a set of about 8 little cars here, different colors. So they're really good for colors if the kids are practicing their colors. They're also good for counting, so you can count them out. They're also really good for just a simple reward, all right? Let's say you don't want to just do, I don't just do stars for trial classes to keep it simple with trials and bring in all these other things. But let's say you just know, hey, this is going to be my girls' trial, this is going to be my boys' trial. They're always there and ready to go. So like I said, colors, numbering, you can use them if you keep them inside a little bowl. I'll say the car is inside in the bowl or outside, right? You could talk about them for adjectives like it's fast or it's slow, right? You could use it for body parts. With the cat, I could talk about the body parts of the cat. I could talk about shapes from the cars. I mean, really, you can just, if you have 2 different sets, really, you can really just go off. And I only have 2, but I feel like I constantly bring them out for all different kinds of things. And it's just really helpful because I know I have my sets. If I feel like something that I need a set for, or, you know, that I'm talking about, you can also use them for demonstrative pronouns, this, that, these, and those, right? works well when you have more than one of something. And yeah, that's it. Like I can use them for so many different things. You can obviously use some of those things with other props, but I feel like I just always know I have two sets of different things. One's kind of girly, one's kind of boyish. The next category is technology. Now, this can be very, very useful because I know that when I use my technology, it's typically me looking at my phone. I'm trying to show them something. So if they ask, oh, I don't know what that is, teacher, like I don't know what an iguana is, or I don't know whatever, or if I ask them, do you know what a macaw is, and they don't know, then I'll look up a picture real quick. If I don't have that in hand, if I don't have something lesson specific, a lesson specific prop, which I really don't have that many lesson specific props, I look it up real quick and I say, look, this is a macaw. Have you seen one? Or this is an iguana, or whatever it is that we're talking about. I'll just look it up on my phone really quickly. So technology can really, really help them understand and give them those visuals. I can also, let them know a little bit more about myself by showing them a picture of something on my phone. Maybe I went somewhere and I'm like, look what I ate yesterday, or I do that a lot with my regulars if we're having our conversation time. I can play music on my phone for them. Some people use their iPads for obviously doing rewards. They use the slides, or they do find a star on their iPad. They do all kinds of things. I don't do that. I kind of like my 2D props, but you can definitely take advantage of technology in the classroom and really just make it kind of a more unique experience by bringing that in there also. Right, the next category is kind of how to make your classes a little bit more personal, how to build those relationships, that connection with your student, and really letting them get to know you a little bit. So like I showed you, we just talked about technology. So an example is like to let them get to know when we talk about pets. Do you have a pet? I talk about my cat, and I'm not going to always go and grab my cat. Obviously the students will go and run off and do that, but I'm not going to do something like that. But I can show them a video of my cat. I can, get on my phone and say, look, this is my cat. And they can see how she's like a feisty cat. Bella. Yeah, my cat is very. So I show them that video. We talk about our pets. I can show them pictures. If I'm talking about my husband, if I'm talking about my best friend, if we're talking about activities, like things we like to do, or places I've been. So that kind of makes it a little bit more personal, and they get to know more about me through those things. And I just have a bunch of pictures of different things. I also talk to them about, that I'm from the USA, but I actually live in Peru. So I show them a map and we talk about Peru. I can show them, that I live in a big city. Sometimes I'll do this, where they can see the buildings and kind of see what it looks like. And yeah, I just try to let them get to know a little bit more about me. The parents will sometimes write in their feedback something that they, when they watch, they saw or something, or they heard, or they mentioned things, so I know they're paying attention. When the kids just like it, they think it's interesting. They're like, wow, that's Teacher Kelley outside of her little classroom. So those are kind of ways. I do videos, I do pictures, I obviously talk about where I live, and we talk a lot in conversation. If they ask me something, I do a lot of the ask me questions, where I'll just kind of hold this up. If we have some time, ask me a question. And, they'll ask me things and it gets them practicing, those questioning skills. But, yeah, those are kind of ways that I make it a little bit more personal in my classroom. The next category is the lesson-specific props. Now, some teachers really go off and they create props for every single lesson or every single unit, or however you want to look at it. But this is actually where I kind of don't do that typically, because I find that it's kind of stressful that I, have to say, okay, like I'm teaching this lesson, so I need to make sure I have this, this, and that, and da-da-da. I kind of just make sure that I have my props that I've already showed you all kind of categorized on my desk or in the boxes that I have next to me. And, I just use, as a lesson goes along, I have them easily accessible and I just grab what kind of goes along with it. But I don't have a lot of props that are lesson specific. As time goes on and I kind of see, it would be kind of nice to have that, or maybe this is a good idea, where they're struggling with this, so I'll bring it in. There's really not that many of them. I see that, kids often struggle with remembering vocabulary like gloves, right? So I have a glove or a scarf with the clothing. That's a big kind of like they forget those, or we talk about it when it's cold, what can you wear? So I'll bring those out. Or if it's, if we're talking about hollow bones, I show this. right? That it's hollow, it's empty inside. I can also use this for circular cylinder. So I try to bring in things that I can use for multiple, you know, ideally if I can use it for multiple things. If we're talking about sports, you know, I have my little sports balls. I have a little basketball too. It's back there. And oftentimes they'll call this football. So I say, no, it's a soccer ball. And I show that. It's also good for the trial class. When they talk about ball, they show a soccer ball. And, you know, scales or a forked tongue, I show my snake. All right, when I saw this, I was like, ooh, this would be fun in the classroom. So I bought this. But these are kind of more lesson-specific props. So if you're really into that and you want to make sure that they have something, then obviously, you know, get what you feel like is necessary. But I wouldn't go too crazy because it costs a lot of money. Like I said, it's more prep time when you're trying to remember all that stuff. If you just have a few items that you think are really important, and I bring out this snake or sometimes these other objects for just other random things. I can use this for seeing, right? When I see someone, you know, I can use a scarf. Talk about how it feels, it's soft, what color is it. So I just try to keep things that I feel like I can really take advantage of using it for multiple things. And yeah, I really don't have that many lesson specific ones, but that category, I feel like you should kind of have an idea of some things that you might really want that go with the lesson because you see that the student might be struggling with it. The next category is for projects. Now I do have a few props that just kind of help whenever I'm introducing what they have, their project options. I have a camera and I pretend like I'm taking pictures, right? And I kind of can use this in lots of other ways in the classroom just for kind of fun. And then I have a paintbrush. So if I say you have to paint, right? And if they have to write sentences, say write sentences, right? So they know they have to write. And if I want them to color it, you know, I kind of show them colors and color your drawing, you know, and I kind of draw, and I'll draw on the screen a heart or a flower. You have to draw. Okay. But really that's it for my project, but I do keep those in mind because when I just read it straight or just show them exactly what's on the screen, I feel like they don't always get the idea. But if I actually show, you know, the fact that, oh, you're going to take a picture, okay, you're going to paint, you paint, you know, I feel like it helps them a little bit. So those are my props for the projects. And the last one I have are props for a student's birthday. So I want to make them feel special during that 25 minutes. So I definitely do have props for birthdays. I have my happy birthday little hat here, and I'll sing the birthday song to them. I will blow up a balloon and write their name on it and maybe draw a picture of them, you know, say happy birthday. And I will ask them what kind of cake they're going to have. They say, I don't know, I might not have a cake. Or, you know, I say, maybe Dinah will bring you a cake, right? And I also play a Find a Star, the birthday one, with them throughout the class. So those are just some simple little things I do to kind of make them feel special. You know, singing the birthday song, having my little hat on, talking about cakes, and playing this little Find a Star. Just kind of, I think, makes them, you know, celebrate it in a small way. All right, I have gone over all of the categories. I hope that you can take something from, you know, this video. Possibly if you use something now that you didn't before, or if you thought about it maybe in a different way. But yeah, that's the goal, is to help you out. You know, I have a lot of fun with these props in my class, and you know, occasionally I add something, but for the most part, I've kind of kept them the same for a long time now. I do make new 2D rewards all the time, so I also use those a lot for props, which I didn't talk about, but it's kind of obvious. You can use them at any time to help with your classes, not just as a reward. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it.